In this video, we're going to be talking about prime and composite numbers. So first we're going to start by looking at our multiplication vocabulary and kind of reminding ourselves about our factors of the multiplication equation, which are the two numbers we're multiplying together. We always have two factors. And then our product or our multiple of those two factors, which is the answer to our multiplication problem. So our product or multiple. Now, we're also going to go back and we're going to look at our factors. This is what's really going to determine whether a number is prime or composite. Here, we were discussing the factors of 12. And we found out with our strategy that we had 6 factors for 12. 3 multiplication problems, but 6 factors. So a question could be, how many factors does the number 12 have? And of course we found that, and 12 has 6 factors. So there's our answer. 12 has 6 factors. And we know that because we multiplied 1 times 12, which equals 12. 2 times 6 equals 12. And 3 times 4 equals 12. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 factors. Now, because 12 has 6 factors, it's created by many different numbers. You can put multiple numbers together to get to the product of 12. Because it's made up of many different numbers, we're going to call that composite. Composite. So 12 is considered a composite number because, and let me just do this. It's made up of more than 2 factors. Okay, so 12 is considered a composite number. Now, what about this? Let's find out how many factors does 2 have? The number 2. So how many factors does the number 2 have? Well, let's find the factors of 2. Remember, we can use our strategy. What times what equals 2? Now, we know 1 times the product will give us the product. So 1 times that number, which in this case is 2, 1 times 2 equals 2. So we know we have 1, 2 factors. But here's a question. Can I multiply any other two numbers together and get the product of 2? Now I know I can flip 1 times 2 and say 2 times 1 because of the commutative property of multiplication. But what about any other numbers? Can I multiply 3 times 2 and get 2? Can I multiply 1 times 5 and get 2? I can't. I can't multiply any other numbers together to get the product of 2. In this case, because the number 2 has only 2 factors, so I would say 2 has only 2 factors, and that would be the number 1 and itself 2. Because of this, the number 2 is considered a prime number. It's considered a prime number. And 2 is a prime number because it has only 2 factors. Those 2 factors are 1 and itself, which in this case is 2. Well, what about 5? How many factors does 5 have? Well, I know I can multiply 1 times 5, and that equals 5. And I know because of the commutative property of multiplication, I can flip that and say 5 times 1 is 5. But are there any other numbers I can multiply together and get 5 as my answer? No. So, therefore, 5 is a prime number. 5 is prime. How about 6? Here's another way the question could be asked. Is 6 prime or composite? Well, I know 1 times 6 equals 6. I also know 2 times 3 equals 6. Since I have 1, 2, 3, 4 factors for 6, that makes 6 composite. 6 is a composite number because it has 4 factors.